In my own wisdom, I have finally decided to baptize the Right Honorable Raila Odinga as the U-turn master. And this is because on 27th November 2023, in his own wisdom, he blatantly told Kenyans that even if Kenyans give President William Samoei Ruto 100 years, there was going to be no any change with this government. So, when I tell you the Right Honorable Raila Odinga has been using his people for his own selfish gains, many may think that I am in my own miasma of assumptions, but the brutal reality is that since time immemorial, the Kikuyus and the Luos have always been politically used and abused. Listen, the Kikuyus are always used for votes because of their large numbers, while the Luos, on the other hand, have always been used for effective governance. That is why, for any presidential candidate to win an election, he or she must inculcate the Kikuyus into his equation, and for purposes of political stability right after the election, then I kid you not, the Luos, through the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, must always be called onto the negotiating table. That remains the paradoxical truth that millions of Kenyans may not want to hear. However, as history dictates, right after every general election, the Luos, bloodshed, and some Kenyans at large has always been used to fuel the political energy of this country. And that could be the reason as to why I have always personally believed that the Right Honorable Raila Odinga has never wanted to be president. Because why would he go for power with responsibility? Because you also know, as a matter of fact, that the presidential seat or the presidency comes with a lot of accounting and responsibility. Why will he go for power with the responsibility when right after Kenyans are killed during demonstrations, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga usually gets power without responsibility? I know the Right Honorable's political theatrics are likely to come to its final ultimate end because he is soon exiting the political stage, and likely the Luo politics are likely to take a different turn. What I'm trying to mean, and making the long story short, is that
When Mr. Jim Thorengo talks, he's talking on the basis of an MOU between ODM and UDA.
the Kikuyus usually determine who becomes president, while the Luos determine if that president shall peacefully rule or not. And again, I repeat, that's the paradoxical truth that Kenyans don't want to hear, but it's the fact of how our politics have been running. My brothers from the Kikuyu or my brothers and sisters from the mountain are usually used for votes and for purposes of political stability. My Luo brothers and sisters, through the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, must always, as it has usually been, they must always be called onto the negotiating table so that the country can witness some political stability. Anything contrary to that, I kid you not, it usually becomes as hard as selling pork in Saudi Arabia for any incumbent president to rule without the Luos through the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga on board. And this was given credence the other day when immediately after President William Samoei Ruto got into office, he was vibrantly, blatantly abusing the deep state, including people like the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, going to an extent of Ruto speaking with a lot of ignorance that bordered arrogance, to an extent that he was seeing himself as the Alpha and Omega and blatantly telling Kenyans that there was no way that he was going to inculcate the Mganga into his government. And guess what? In a dint of a fiat, we all witnessed what Kenya has never witnessed through the Gen Z movement. And it is Ruto, in his own wisdom, he had to quickly run for the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga just for him to seek legitimacy. And immediately when he infiltrated the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga into his government, that marked the genesis and the end of the Gen Z demonstrations. That is why up to date, I strongly believe President William Samoei Ruto is in power courtesy of borrowed time from the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. So what I'm trying to mean is that the two communities usually have been pointing fingers that there is only one community that is usually used before and during the election. But from where I sit, the two communities are usually used by whoever is likely to assume the highest office of the land. But from where I sit, that has just been my opinion. If by any chance you do have a contrary opinion to mine, you can as well just feel free to drop them in the comment section and I'll give them a right of reply. And by any chance, if you have been watching my videos and you have not subscribed, you can as well just consider hitting on the subscribe button. Thank you and may God bless you.